In the morning, he woke up after a bombardment, and all the houses were gone but his. Everything was gone, or the house he was in, and he told me that, and I'm like, wow, that's I don't know what I thought at that time. I have no idea. What do you say to that? But the stories he told me really captured my attention. And the idea of going into the reserves, being that I always watched, war movies and stuff. I don't know, it must have been a past life. I was I was in battles, I guess, apparently, because it really drew me in. And I followed that and went into it. So I, learned how to throw grenades and shoot different weapons and rockets and, did everything that I was supposed to learn. But the word got out that I was underage because I couldn't keep my mouth shut. And I had to leave. And I never went back in. I experienced what I experienced. That's what I did when I was 14 years old. Whenever I wanted to do something, I found a way to do it. I was lucky. Been lucky all my life. I've had multiple, I think I mentioned I had multiple near-death experiences. I remember hearing the voice of God one day. I went to the Cowichan River with my friends, and I dove in, and it was the sun was setting, and you couldn't see in the water. And I know through search and rescue, because we had to pull people out of the water and recover bodies. People diving in the water in a river. You don't dive headfirst into a river. Not smart. So I cracked my skull, and I was bouncing along the bottom of the river. And a voice came to me and says, call me by my name. Call me, you're underwater, don't breathe. You're underwater. And this was a commanding voice. This was, wake up, you're underwater, don't breathe. Wake up, you're underwater, don't breathe. Wake up, you're underwater, don't breathe. 3 times that came to me. And I woke up telling myself, you're underwater, don't breathe. And I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And it was a deep pool. And it took me a few minutes to get to the surface. Well, not a minute. It took me a few seconds to get to the surface. And I got there and gasped air. And, I'm bleeding and dazed. I couldn't walk more than 20 feet without having to sit down. It was terrible. And I told my friends, who also had first aid, one of them had a first aid certificate, and it didn't clue in that I literally knocked myself unconscious. I'm just messed up. So I went home, and I think I slept for 2 days. Oops. I didn't know any better. I was so confused. I just had to rest. And I went in to see the doctor. I had a headache that lasted me for a month, and he says, okay, you've had a really, really bad concussion, and you need to not hit your head for a year. Don't hit your head for a year, he says. You got to stop with your martial arts. You got to stop with everything that will risk you getting a head injury. Okay, so I did that. I stepped away from a lot of things. I didn't do any more training for a while. And because I couldn't afford to take a blow to the head. Yeah. So I remember that voice. And I'm never going to forget that voice. It was if anybody out there has had the same experiences, let me know. Do you remember that the voice? Because it's not like the internal monologue voice that you have of self, your higher self or consciousness. It was something commanding. It was Source that told me what was going on. And somehow, some reason, I've heard that before. It was so familiar and so trusting, insightful. It was a powerful awareness. Anyway, if anybody has had these kinds of experiences, let me know. Make a comment. I'd be interesting to hear what you have to say. Let's go back to more truth. I'll make some more videos. I think they wanted to talk about that. So yeah, I've healed through a lot of shit. Been through a lot. Happy Truth and Reconciliation Day, Canada. Enjoy it. Speak some truth today. Speak some truth every day. Tell your story. It could help somebody. Share it. Take care, everyone. Remember, healing requires silencing the external and going inward. It doesn't consist of trauma bonding and being stagnant and waiting for something to change. It requires going in. It requires feeling that shit. And if you're not willing to go in and feel it, you're just wasting your time and other people's time. That's all you're doing. I've been through a lot in my life, and I've healed through all those things. Emotional control through shaming and emotional abandonment, emotional neglect, emotional manipulation, all that energy tossed from unhealed people onto me, projected onto me, and I wore it. I took it because I didn't know any better. I was a child, just like you were when you were a child. It's time to wake up. Are you willing to concede to the healing of your inner child, to surrendering, to heal all those emotions? I'm going to say this till the last day, the last breath I have. Healing consists of going in, not taking things from the external and applying them, someone else's healing and applying them to you. No, it doesn't work that way. These ideas and philosophies and stuff are ego-based. It's not true healing, because healing consists of feeling. And if you don't feel, you're not going to heal. You have to complete the cycle. What have you got to lose? What have you got to lose? Other than all that crap. And I keep saying it. But your ego defends your position not to feel. Your ego does not want to turn inward. It wants to blame. It wants to project. It just goes to show you where you are on your healing journey. Those that this resonates with will understand. Those that this triggers, think about it.